Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Honestly, I want to appreciate everyone for taking the time to be here. And most importantly, I want to appreciate the organizers of this conference, African Diaspora Corporation. I want to let you know that what you are doing is an incredible amount of work. I know what it is because I'm also involved in things like this. And I know at the beginning, a lot of network, a lot of phone calls, a lot of sacrifices involved. Your resources, your time. It will demand a lot of all that. So I want to congratulate you for what you have done, seeing what happened yesterday. I want to give you a big congratulations. And I also want to let you know that what you are doing will come with a lot of challenges. But please, if you remember Africa and where you are coming from, a wise man was speaking that if you truly want to appreciate what God has done for you, look at where he has brought you from. There are going to be challenges, but please remain steadfast. I am convinced that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I also want to share with you because why I'm saying this is that exactly a month ago, I was speaking in Atlanta, Georgia, on a similar thing that you are doing here. And just like you, that was their inaugural meeting. So it shows that there's a movement already. There's a trampling already. There's a budding already. People who are determined to change the landscape of Africa. Yesterday we had a fantastic event. We were told that some of the reasons why Africa is not taken seriously. I think by Dr. Baker, if I'm not mistaken. Why Africa is not taken seriously. And I was worried. One of the reasons is that why Africa is not taken seriously is because of time management. Can you imagine that? Africa is not taken seriously because of time management. They have what they call African man time. That is, when you fix the time, the African man will say 3 o'clock, they have not started yet. Let's give them some time. Let's relax a little. They want to turn up at 3:30 or even turn up at 4. No, the rest of the world has moved on. That's one of the reasons Africa is not taken seriously. Another thing just has been said, repeatedly here, Africa is not taken seriously because of access to healthcare. A friend of mine was speaking and said, it's a matter of time when we go to our clinic for consultation, we may need to start consulting with native doctors. Is that scary? Everyone is moving out. But it was not all bad news. We were told yesterday as well that 60% of the resources required to move the world forward is in our continent. That's good news. 60% of the resources required to move the global experience forward is in the continent of Africa. That's good news. I don't know if you understand the enormity of that statement. We were also told that what Africa needs is trade and not aid. That's what we need. We were told one of the reasons Africa is not taken seriously is because of bad leadership. I want to just, before I go into my slides, I want to recap. It's important for me to recap. Bad leadership. Another thing Africa is not taking seriously is trust issues. Trust issues. Very important, sir. And we know the role of trust. Trust is a major capital in the school of investment. Major capital. If there's no trust, forget about investment. You can't be talking to an investor when there are trust issues. One of the things I learned yesterday, we were told about what is possible in real estate. What is possible in real estate? Gladdens my heart to hear the kind of potential that we have in Africa. But the wise man was speaking, just like we were told yesterday, you need 3 things to succeed in real estate, which I'm sure my brothers here will corroborate. Number 1 is location. Number 2, location. And number 3 is location. And with the little portfolio I have in housing, I want to tell you something that you should take home. Return on investment on real estate in some locations in Nigeria, they are better than what you have here, sir. I'm talking from experience. We were also told by women the inroads that women in business are doing in Africa. I enjoyed it all. Great meeting yesterday. But now, I'm here to guide you through the investment opportunity in the oil and gas sector. And it's not by mistake we are doing that today, because I represent what is possible in that sector. I represent what is possible, sir, in that sector. Why am I saying that? I'm in the business of doing business in the oil sector of Nigeria. And the truth remains that I was once resident here. In fact, my parents arrived in the shores of Liverpool in 1963. So I'm the second generation of my family that came to England. All of my siblings, they live here. I'm the only one who has gone back home. And I know what it is. I want to tell you that the business that I'm involved in, after 12 years, is now a market leader in the entire continent of Africa. I will share some of those secrets and stories with you, because I believe that in the oil and gas sector holds a lot for Nigeria. You hear Nigeria, they say this, it's an oil nation, it's an oil country. True. But sir, for all these years, we are only just rubbing on the surface. I can tell you for sure. I told them in Atlanta, Georgia, that where I'm from, the Niger Delta, for the purpose of administrative convenience, you have about 9 states that make the Niger Delta Development Commission. 24% of the population, but we give back to Nigeria 80% of our revenue. Those are the things I'm here to share with you. Please, there's a lot of investment that is open. You will see it in the slides that I've prepared. A lot of opportunities. And those opportunities, because we are not aware, are taken off by foreigners who come to invest, which is okay. There's no problem about that. But there are quite a number of areas that should be taken by us, as it were. The outline of my presentation today. I'll just do a brief introduction, and I will share with you the overview of the oil and gas sector in Nigeria. The major products that you can get from petroleum. Revenue from petroleum from 2017 to 2022. The downstream and upstream investment opportunities. Other investment opportunities in the oil and gas. Requirement for crude oil marketing. Indigenous players that are in the oil and gas sector. Nigerian mining industry, and possibly some of the Asian tigers, their involvement in that particular area. I also want to be honest about it. Because if I'm asking you to come and invest, we have to be honest to a point. So there's a SWOT analysis that I've done on the sector as well. And also, to round off, opportunities in the marginal phase. Then I'll close. And in closing, I will share with you my own experience, my pictorial experience of what I'm doing in Nigeria. Because I'm glad to let you know, sir, and ma'am, that the business I left UK and went back to Nigeria, it's almost impossible to do it without consulting with us today. Almost impossible, sir. Nigerian oil and gas sector provides one of the strongest opportunities for both local and global investors, sir. The opportunities are numerous, too numerous, sir, and highly diversified with guarantee on premium return. All things being equal, sir. The kind of returns you have in the oil and gas business in Nigeria, I tell you, sir, you can check it, you can't find it anywhere else. I have friends who have vessels in Norwegian and I say, look, how do we get our vessels? You are saying you will tell me that there are trust issues, there are security issues, but I'm telling you what is possible. A detailed analysis of the operations, the dynamics and potential, which is the crux of this presentation, will provide the much needed knowledge and guide for prospects. In summary, the oil and gas sector in Nigeria is a gold mine, but have not been fully tapped at all. So that's why you see that the global brands are there. And with all these your security issues and trust issues, they are not about to leave, sir. They're there. Chevron is there. ExxonMobil is there. Total is there. Egypt is there. They are not about to go away. In fact, they are crying for more investment. Oil and gas with the related products accounts for 90% of Nigeria's total export volume. More than 80% of the government revenue still comes from here, sir. Sadly, though, sadly, I say sadly for the fact that there are a number of things that are playing now that we can play with in our minerals that will make the oil and gas business like a child's play. The minerals that are in the ground in Nigeria, sir, from coast to coast, if we expose them here today, we will not leave. It will make the revenues we are deriving from oil and gas a child's play. The nation is among the top 3 largest producers of crude oil in Africa: Nigeria, Libya, Angola, and also occupies a premium place in world ranking. Average capacity 2.5 billion barrels per day. Nigeria is ranked among the 10th largest exporter of petroleum in the world and the largest natural gas reserve in Africa, ranking 7th globally. It has attained an annual average production of about 2,000 billion standard cubic feet of natural gas, for which a high percentage is still being flared annually. Most of the production, you go to our cities, you go to the centers, oil and gas centers, you see that flaring. They flare the gas And that is money that is being burnt away. That is where you come in. That's where you come in. I know of many gas projects that have been deprioritized. Deprioritized. Why? Because there are no funding. If they are funding, the government and the OICs are going to prioritize them. Sorry. Still on the overview, local refining capacity is only about 24%. Very small. Very small. We can do better than that. 24% cannot meet the needs of Nigerians, let alone to talk about our neighbors. Creating a huge demand gap for refined petroleum products on local supplies. We never have enough of it. Sadly, though, sadly, because we should enjoy the comparative advantage of being a major producer. As I speak with you, there are queues everywhere. In an attempt to bridge the gap, the downstream industry has been opened up to private sector participation and foreign investment. It's been opened up. You can take advantage of it, sir and ma'am. The signing of the Petroleum Industry Act in August 2021 has also helped in creating better conditions for investors as well. You need to take advantage, sir. A lot is happening back home. We need to position ourselves to take advantage of it. In our efforts to ensuring zero gas flaring, the federal government has embarked on comprehensive and integrated gas utilization master plan and program, which includes the development of liquefied natural gas plants, independent power plants. Consequently, domestic gas consumptions are continuing to expand. Sir, these are all crying for investment. The opportunities there, sir. As I go on these slides, I don't want to, bore you with the fact that, okay, you need mega money to be able to get involved. There are areas that you can get involved, you can work from home, sir. You can work from home and take advantage of what is ours. I have done it. It's working for me. And I'm convinced it will work for you as well. Now, this is what you can get from crude oil. In refining the products, the raw crude oil, you subject it to temperature, you pass it through a fractionating column, and the different product begins to fractionate at different temperatures. Time will fail me to begin to list this, because even in gasoline, even in diesel, even in kerosene, liquefied petrol, LPG, asphalt, some of them can be further broken down. So there's business everywhere. But the sad truth is that it's not in the hands of the people. More of the products. When you pass crude oil through a fractionating column, this tells you the revenue that has been accrued from crude oil from 2017 to 2022, sir. The figures we are playing with are humongous, sir. Humongous. But you can't see it. This is why we need people from the diaspora to come put resources together. Network. It may sometimes not need your money, but sometimes an effective network can get you somewhere, sir. Investment opportunities in the oil and gas sector. I want to start with the downstream. You see the opportunities that are available for you and I. Available, sir. Refining. Establishment of modular refineries. Please, when they say modular refineries, say, oh, the figures are huge and all of that. Modular refineries, because of recent technology, they can come in small packages, sir. They don't have to be big. They don't have to be big. And if others are entering, why not you and I? Also, I tell you, I'm looking at that. I'm already trying to get have a space already. I want to do that. It's possible, sir. Establishment Construction and maintenance of storage tanks for refined products, sir. If you get involved in storage tanks, you can never go wrong, sir. I tell you, sir, from experience. I own a few big barges, and I tell you, the calls for storage is on a daily basis. The marginal feeds, the people that run the market, they don't have enough storage. NMPC doesn't have enough storage. You can't go wrong on investment of storage. You cannot go wrong, sir. Transportation of refined products from place to place. Marketing of refined products. Establishment of processing plants. Still on downstream, sir. And industries for the production of refined mineral oil, petroleum jelly, and grease. Establishment of chemical industries that utilize refining products such as linear alkyl benzene, carbon black, and polypropylene. So these are opportunities for investment. I want you to look at this as I begin to go on, sir. There is something that is possible by your hand. Gas. Establishment of gas treatment plants for domestic and industrial use. Establishment of gas power generating plants, fertilizer plants, exportation of gas. These are Nigeria has more gas than crude oil, sir. For crying out loud. More gas. 38% of gas in Nigeria is in my state, Delta. So we know what is at work. We know what is going on there. But I want to let you know that they are all crying for investment. Still on gas, domestic marketing, construction of gas pipelines and pipeline, domestic manufacturing of all LPG cylinders, valves, regulators, and other accessories, all crying for investment. Now on the upstream, with proven oil and gas reserves of about 37 billion barrels and about 200 million cubic feet, 200 million cubic feet, respectively, of gas. Numerous investment opportunities are bound as well in the upstream sector, sir. We need to take advantage, sir. It is not by mistake that God has placed these things in that place. It is for you and I. And most of the benefits are not accrued to us. That's why I'm here, to tell you what is possible. Upstream investment opportunities, survey, geotechnical control establishment, mapping, sea bottom surveying investigation, data analysis. Some of this you can work from home, sir. It's not all mega box to get them established. You can work from home. So just in case you are thinking of huge infrastructure and all that, it's not all the time. And these are mega bombs. These are meant for you and I, are meant for investors. Have the right partnership. Upstream investment opportunity. There are civil works, site survey, preparation of drilling location, construction of access roads to drilling locations, construction of mud pit and slab pit, or concreting jobs at rig sites. These are all opportunities for us to take advantage of. Seismic data acquisition and interpretation, seismic party services, supply of special consumables such as dry wet paper, steel cases, recording equipment, and spare part, explosives, detonators, and magnetic tapes. Pressure valves and pump, shallow drilling equipment. These are equipment that can be sourced from the West and taken back home. You are in a advantageous position to be able to exploit some of these areas. Please, I want you to take advantage. I'm here to make this passionate appeal. We can't leave these things in the hands of people that they should not be in their hands. Geological activities, wireline logging, core analysis, geological studies, geochemical studies. These are studies that can be done from the comfort of the home. Or just have a small caravan somewhere in one small land and pay for people. You are in business. You are in business. Drilling and workover rigs, field transportation of equipment for haulage and rig movement, general and specialized services such as case running, welding, and catering, provision of mulch and other chemicals. Drill, still in the upstream. Crude oil production, transport and storage. Storage again, like I told you. Construction and maintenance of crude oil facilities, flow stations, pipelines, wellheads. Construction and maintenance of storage tanks, terminals. These are, some of them are just maintenance activities. You are maintaining a particular area. It may not be everywhere. You have a small maintenance thing. You are just maintaining for, a particular flow station. These are things that people are coming into Nigeria, sir. And they're taking advantage of them, sir. Most of them Lebanese, sir. They're coming to take advantage. I know a Lebanese guy that came with paper bag. From Lebanon. You need to see what is on the ground today, sir. We're not even where he is. 2 years ago, he did wedding in Lebanon, sir. There were limousines to pick everyone from the foot of the aircraft. Money from Nigeria. Limousines were lined up to pick everyone from the foot of the aircraft. Oil and gas legal services, our lawyers in the house, oil spillage cleaning, oil and gas consulting, tank farm construction, lubricant production, sales of petroleum tankers. The list is endless. Endless. Oil and gas pipeline security. With an app today, you don't need to have men physically on the ground looking at pipeline. You don't need. But that's what is happening. That's what is happening. I'll leave that for another day. The kind of figures that we're playing with just to monitor our pipeline, it will shock you. Oil and gas enterprise software application, equipment leasing, fuel haulage and logistics, domestic DPK retailing, oil and gas brokerage services, all there for the asking, sir. Requirement for crude oil marketing. You may look at some of them big players. But please, I don't want us to leave this hall and say, this is for no oil and gas for big players. No, sir. No, sir. I didn't go with, I left London, I left UK with almost nothing. I went back home with almost nothing. So what are we talking about? So if it is possible by one, it is possible by another, sir. That's my take. The requirements for crude oil marketing. An upstream investor who has acquired an oil prospecting license and must have completed a minimum work on the concession. One who may apply for crude oil license, local refineries, allowed to do that, international refineries, reputable oil and gas traders. You can apply for it. Who may purchase Nigerian crude oil? A bona fide end user who owns a refinery or a safe outlet like you have filling station. You can apply for it. These things are possible, sir. An established large volume trader with proof of global network, operations and volumes of crude oil handled in the last 3 years. Applicants must have a minimum annual turnover of at least $500 million and a net worth of not less than $250 million. Now, just to bring us up to speed, to build the momentum in the house, I've taken time to research about indigenous players in the oil and gas industry so that you know that if it is possible by them, it's also possible by you, sir. And this thing is crying across Africa, waiting for us to take advantage. The first on the line is myself. I will show us the things that I have done in the industry. Just going back and the tenacity to succeed was all I took back home. You were well aware of Aliko Dangote, the refinery, 13 billion. Thank God for that. But you don't need to get to that level. There are other areas that you can get involved in. If you think that is too much. Theophilus Danjuma, Southern Atlantic Petroleum. I've just run Adewale Tinubu Owando, Folorunsho Alakija, Brandt, Ojako, and Austin Avuru, and Seplat Petroleum. Tunde Afolabi, Bola Shage, Benedict Peters. So I took time to just list the players. And the common denominator of all this is that they all started from somewhere, sir. You too can start from somewhere. It doesn't have to be a huge investment portfolio. That's the message I'm passing here. If you look at their history, they started from somewhere. Even we have just mentioned Aliko, you need to look at somebody gave him money from the very beginning, small. They all started small. So what you have today is sufficient, sir. Now talking about the Nigerian oil and gas industry and the Asian tigers, not much investment, from them in the oil and gas, not much. But sir, they are thick in the mining, sir. Everywhere you go, if they do their mapping and found out that there are minerals there, they don't mind buying the entire village, sir. They don't mind doing that. They know what is there, and we don't know, sir. And I know a few of my friends who are doing mapping. Mapping is something you know that the resources, you can do mapping, sir. You can do mapping. Mapping out the resources. Like I was saying, sir, if the resources apart from crude oil that we have, we make crude oil like an icing on the cake. Everywhere you go, there are minerals. I took time, we are mapping the one for Delta State. We are mapping the one for Delta State, sir. If I share those information with you, you'll be amazed. And in Nigeria, you have, what is in the exclusive list and what is in the non-exclusive list. In the non-exclusive list, you can mine them without recourse to the federal government. You can mine them. Those are all crying for investment. The Asians, particularly the Chinese, are heavy. The Koreans are heavy. However, Korea has made inroads into the Nigerian economic space in other sectors. Considering the Asian tigers investment drive the chances that sooner or later they will venture into the oil and gas. They're even doing that. Because if you look at the ownership of Adas Petroleum today, it's now more of Chinese than Swedes. I did a SWOT analysis so that one is transparent. We're not trying to dress it and try to say, oh, Nigeria, the bad press, and all of that. No, sir. We are looking at the strength, the weakness, and the threats, and the opportunities as well. Nigeria, the strength, Nigeria is endowed with significant volume of oil and gas, sir. It's there, sir. It's there. We are barely tapping into it. Established infrastructure, because we have been producing oil since the early 60s. I tell you, the infrastructure is robust, it's developed, and the manpower is there. It's one of our strengths. Strategic geopolitical location. Wherever you go around the Niger Delta, they're dotted around there, you find it. Government support to indigenous participation in the oil and gas, it is there. You will see it when we come to the marginal fields. If you cannot be involved in the upstream, by all means be involved in the marginal fields. Most of the marginal field players are people like you and I, sir. They are there. They come to us all the time to move product for them. Skilled and competent workforce is there. We have it in abundance. It's one of our strengths. Highly diversified products, derivatives with high demand everywhere. The quality of our oil, sir. The quality of our oil. There's a place called Pennington. Pennington Light, you can even take it and put it in the truck and it moves it. Without, you don't do any limited or no refining at all. The quality, sir. Bonny Light is something else. It's in high demand. Opportunity for sustainable regional development, employment, direct and indirect job creation. These are the strengths. The weaknesses. The Nigerian economy is heavily reliant on oil export. When there's any shaking globally, Nigeria cannot meet a budget. Everything is says, we can't do that. So this is the reason why we need to diversify economy. We have been saying this for so long. Apart from crude oil, there are other mineral resources that are there. If we exploit them, this will be crude oil become an icing on the cake. Insecurity and sabotage. That's the problem that we have. We must be frank and upfront. But the truth, sir, can I shock you? Even the insecurity in the oil and gas is looking for investment. Looking for investment. I tell you, sir. If you come with a software that can, it is instant money, sir. It's instant money. Begging for investment. Environmental degradation is one of our people just produce, and you have local refineries, they are busting pipes and bringing out, things like that. It's affecting the environment. That's one of our weaknesses. Limited refining capacity. We don't have enough capacity. We're not refining enough. Our refineries, the ones that are there, they are epileptic, they are not producing to capacity. Not producing to capacity, sir. Then, of course, corruption, mismanagement. It's one of our weaknesses, sir. We need to say it. But I tell you, sir, if you come and invest in Nigeria, in the oil and gas sector, which I'm here to sell to you, sir, you can't make mistakes, sir. I'm telling you the truth. Opportunities, gas development. Gas development is something that, I have a lot of guys who do small, gas plant. They do small gas plant, they are peddling, gas into cylinders, they're making cylinders, they are PVC cylinders these days. You have all kinds of innovation in the market. You can take advantage of that. Crying for investors. The local content development, the Nigeria Content Development and Monitoring Board promotes local participation, offering opportunities for indigenous companies and boosting employment at the same time. Please, come and invest. Opportunities, renewable energy integration. We can do that. We can, renew. Everyone is looking now for cleaner forms of energy. We can integrate what we have with what we used to have, and make it cleaner. It's an investor. It's an area that is looking for investment. Integrating both the old and the new way is begging for investment. Downstream sector liberalization. This has created room for private investment, improved efficiency, and better products availability. Opportunities, technological advancement is there. Come with technology. Technology is ripe everywhere. Come with what kind of technology you have here in the West. And you'll be surprised there's a buy-in. The trends, global market fluctuation. Once there's a fluctuation in the market, Nigeria is naked. Nigeria is naked. We can't meet, our budget. Environmental concerns and climate change. It's a major problem. Major problem today. Everyone is talking about climate change, and that is putting pressure. And sometimes it can drive costs up. Security threats, like I've said earlier, looking for investment. Growing global competition. People are looking for better ways to do business. Better ways. The cost of producing crude oil in Nigeria is not the same as producing in Saudi Arabia. People are looking for better ways, sir. The cost of producing one barrel in Nigeria is different from the cost of producing in Kuwait. The competition, regulatory uncertainties. Today, government comes with one policy, another comes with another policy. When another government comes in, it's a trend to invest. The Nigerian government introduced the marginal feed program in 2001 with the objective of opening up of the industry to wider indigenous participation. Indigenous on the land. And I tell you, sir, some of my friends are taking advantage of it. And the kind of figures they are playing with, they are humongous, sir. Humongous. Little in, coming out with great figures. Let's take advantage. They also create robust industry that will possibly impact the capacity of indigenous exploration and production companies to contribute to Nigerian oil production. That's why the marginal field is there. All of us will get involved. This is producing, you are producing here, we are taking advantage on what is genuinely ours. Why invest in marginal fields? Comparatively low price of marginal field asset in Nigeria. It's low compared to anywhere else. Closeness or proximity to already existing production facilities. This is something that is working for marginal fields. Now, if you have a marginal field that is sold to you, you will almost find out that there's a pipeline of the OIC that is close by. It's close by. So you can channel your product through metering system and you'll be able to know what you are producing and what you are selling. Very important. Not that you are going to start a marginal field from scratch and then do a pipeline as well. No. The systems are already there. Sole ownership of assets. Foreign participation is allowed. The marginal fields. And the tax incentive is something else. Something else. Marginal operators enjoy a 55% petroleum profit tax rate on chargeable profit. What else are you looking for? Conclusion, sir. While this space is limited to expand further on the investment opportunities in the oil and gas sector of the Nigerian economy, I can confidently say that the opportunities are bound and they are enormous. The opportunities ranges from high-end activities such as building refineries to other value-added services, not only the big ones, the small ones as well, in the upstream and downstream sector. Gladly, the current trend caters for both indigenous and foreign players who meet the minimum requirements. The oil and gas sector is open for exploration, and the benefits are huge and fulfilling. I'll tell you, by the special grace of God, I'm the MD of this company. It's called Wellman Group. Wellman Group, like I was telling you earlier, we started small, as they would say, slowly but surely, and today we are where we are. And like I said earlier, if it is possible by our hand, it's also possible by your hand. That's the truth. Now, we have what we have. You see what you have. This is an oil facility, a platform that is owned by Chevron. Now, you see this asset, they call it self-propelled modular trailers. You see it down here. I'm glad to let you know that we have the largest fleet in the entire continent of Africa. They are bought brand new. It's not that they were second hand. Brand new. That's what we use to move these structures, sir. That's why I tell you that if you want to move oil and gas structure in Nigeria, we are positioned for it. We don't go and beg for it. You will need to come and talk to us. And I want to tell you, when I went back to Nigeria, we started with one rickety pump. Rickety pump. We cleaned it, we painted it. That's how we started, sir. That's how we started. I saw this asset first when the Bonga project. The Bonga project was done in 2002, 2003. And the contractor that came to ship them, it was Dawood that fabricated some of those structures. And Tony Blair was saying here that was proud that these are the amount of jobs that have been created in the UK. And Obasanjo said, how many jobs have been created in Nigeria? They said no. He said no. That's an error. That's how they brought some of these structures to be fabricated in Warri, where I was. And I was privileged to see this equipment there for the very first time. And I told the operators that, look, I was the one that brought it from the port. Dedicated equipment. They brought it from Holland. They did the job. And the vessel was waiting in the port. They finished, took it back, and went back to Holland. I said, this vessel needs to be in country, sir. And they gave me a card. They gave me a card. The card was a French company, Nicolas. When I asked for him for a performer for this, the kind of figures they were calling for just 36 axle lines was about 3 million euros. That's what they were calling. I said, well, I went to China. When I went to China, they gave me a figure that is affordable. I flew back from China to France and I showed them the performer. I said, this is the figure we want to play with. They said, sorry, we can't meet it. We are going to sell you something that we are going to support. And I left back to Nigeria. A week after, I didn't know the Frenchman has a Nigerian visa. He was in my office in Warri. I said, look, we want to sell you this thing. We'll support you. And the tenacity of that man, I paid a down payment of $1 million for this equipment. Eventually, they cost about $3.6 million. 36 axle line, not all of our fleet. They're pretty pricey. In that equipment, you have electronics, you have mechanical, you have everything there. That's the equipment that moves things like this. That's it. This is my business today in Nigeria. This is what I do on a daily basis. On the entire Gulf of Guinea, sir, we have moved the largest single structure ever moved in the entire Gulf. That's the structure, sir. It's 3,800 tons. One simple structure for Chevron. It was moved by us, a business that we started in Warri. The technicality to move this thing, because you see, this cargo now is sitting on the barge. You can see the barge. This is a barge. Now we have taken it from where it was fabricated. We have moved it onto this back. You see all the equipment in the back. We will put it down and then go back. When it was time to transport this massive structure, the center of gravity was offset. How do we transport it? Because apart from transporting it, we also have the capability to weigh it. At the touch of a button, we put our equipment and we are weighing. We'll tell you the exact figure. And we calculate the center of gravity for you. These are things that are done by experts. But now, because we have gone back home and the exposure and experience that we have, we are able to take advantage of things like that. That's the same structure. You see all the equipment down. This is another structure. This was moved for, we moved this for Total. This structure almost took a arm and a leg. A arm and a leg in the sense that now, when we were moving this structure, you see all the trailers are under. We are moving. We want to go to the bag that is here, waiting to receive her. I tell you, something gave up on that trailer, sir. And that structure came down on one side. I was right under on this flag. I was somewhere here. Sir, we all ran away for our lives, sir. Including the operator, sir. We ran away, sir. The operator is a French guy because at this time we didn't have capacity to operate it. I had to send 6 Nigerians to France for training. So in the time past when we acquired this equipment, when we want to move anything, I need to bring somebody from France. But we sent 6 Nigerians to France. We train them. Today when we move things like this, they are all Nigerians. That's the same structure. That's the Frenchman that was there. He was, because of his experience, he was able to go under, isolate some of the axle line, lifted it up again. That's how we deliver the structure. Without him, I tell you, we would not have been able to do it. The Dangote fertilizer and the Dangote refinery. If you see Mr. Dangote, you can ask him. Without this small company, that thing would not have taken off. They had this structure for 2.5 years. They didn't know how to take it to site. And I came along and said, sir, we will take these things to site. There were 69 structures. I said, we will take it to site for you. They didn't believe me. So what I did a demo. I brought my equipment from Warren at my cost. My cost. And I paid for it. We did a demo. And they gave me one Indian and American. They followed me with the demo. In it, we had some problems along the way. And I told them that in engineering is about looking for solutions. It's not all going to be, we are not telling you that there's not going to be problems. They're going to be, they are not surmountable. The Indian guys refused. But the American came and said, look, Chris, what do you think? I said, this thing is doable. And they called 3 contractors, 2 from abroad and myself. When we went there, by the time we finished our presentation, Dangote said, I want to sign with you. I want to sign with you now. I was able to demonstrate capacity, not because I was local. I had capacity behind me, sir. Now, this is called the ammonia converter for the Dangote fertilizer. So when we wanted to move this structure, Julius Berger, who did that road, some of us who are familiar with Ekpe, Julius Berger, who did that road, said they refused to sign. They said, no, this thing, you know those, you have to call them deck on piles. If you know Ekpe very well, if you are going, you see some of those bridges, you think it's the road, but they are on piles. They said, those things will collapse. That don't do it. And we came and we demonstrated capacity engineering, because if you look at these axles here, now it can be, this structure can be lighter than when you are carrying sand. All this weight is distributed along the axles. So we did that calculation. The day we were to transport to Lagos State government, they came with LASMA, police everywhere. They want to see, because we delivered the structure, sir, safely, and that's why you can see that the fertilizer refinery is standing there, sir. All 69 structures were safely delivered. Safely delivered. At this stage, Dangote now have a jetty in the Atlantic Ocean, so it was convenient to not go there. But in the initial time, there was no jetty there. How do we take it? Almost 3 years they were waiting until we came, sir. And we gave them another route. We went through the Eko Bridge, we went through the Kata Bridge, we went through the Third Mainland Bridge, we arrived at the Bear Bridge, we came out from there, and they did 47 kilometers to south. Engineering feats, as it were. These are very tall structures for the refinery. These are structures delivered by our own assets and our own people. These are structures delivered. You look at this structure. So now, why the Indian man was saying that it's not possible, I'll show it to you now. Now, you see what is happening here. You see what is happening here now is that this is the badge. You can see that from here, a badge is sitting on water. Sorry, it's sitting on water. Now, when two of the axle line, the tires are gotten into the badge, you have successfully transferred some of this weight onto the badge. Now, we have balanced the badge. We have balanced the badge to align with the key. Now, when you transfer some load, you further depress the badge. It means that you can't go. By that time, we have put sufficient water in the badge. And we are taking the corresponding amount of water from the badge. As we are transferring the load, we are taking out the water. As we are transferring the load, we are taking. Sometimes it can get to a state of equilibrium, you have to wait for the time. This is what my men are doing there. They are having a nice time. Half of it on water, half of it on land. But they are having coffee. They are waiting for the time. Having coffee. You can see that. Ordinary man comes to see this, they will be scared. Oh, waiting for the tide to compensate that. That's on their way to the Dangote refinery. Now, look, this is what I was telling you. Now, this is a bridge for those of us who know Lagos very well. We are approaching the Eko Bridge. When we get to the Eko Bridge, the diameter of these vessels are higher than the bridge. How do you want to go through it? So the Indian said it's not possible. And I told him that engineering-wise it's possible. So what we did, some of these structures, you can see that they are sitting on a stool. That stool is 1 meter. It's 1 meter. Now, what we did when we took them, in some of them, like this one, the height is okay. Some of them is that are higher than the bridge. There are about 6 of them. Now we take out this structure and put it on the deck of the barge. Sorry, sir. We put it on the deck of the barge. So, and then we also wait for when the tide has ebbed completely. We gain some dimension there as well. And then we face the bridge when the tide is against us. You don't face the bridge when the tide is in your favor. When the tide is against you. That's how all the structures were safely delivered. Thus, we're adding value to the Nigerian economy. Why? Because we want us to leave this particular client to get to a place where we can start something. I believe you are next in line to start something. These are projects delivered for ExxonMobil. Very challenging. You see these two structures, they're about 1,200 each. What? They are sitting on the badge, as it were. That's the badge. That's our badge. That's our badge, sir. They're sitting on it. Now you put one, and you come again to put the other one. You need to see it, sir. It's a state-of-the-art thing, sir. You will love it. This is a thing that we know how to do better. And we are sharpening that point in the entire Gulf of Guinea. So what we're saying today, sir, is that this thing is possible by us. And that we must take advantage, sir. We must take advantage. This is for Total. This is for Chevron. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. See you again.